Welcome to part 2 of A Bunch of Dads on the Man Cave. Does the group also include dads who are divorced, separated, or being kept away from their children? And if so, what is the dynamic between this demographic and the fathers that are married?
We do cater to divorced dads, single dads, separated dads, gay dads. Basically, the number one rule of the group is if you're a dad, you're welcome. And we will welcome you with open arms. We do not discriminate whatsoever in our group. If you're a dad, you're welcome. You know, me and Travis are in the same boat. You know, the sources for us to be able to go, to be able to get, answers to questions. We're trying to make it to where if you are a single parent, you're a single dad, you're in a custody battle, whatever it is, we're trying to give you that place that you can go and that you can reach out, and we are there to grab your hand and say, hey, look, it's okay. What do you need? I have an ear. Let's talk about that.
You guys grew up without a father, so you don't have a frame of reference to go back to say, well, my dad did this, so this is what I would tell my son. I grew up with a father, but he was, I'm older than you guys a bit. My father comes from the older generation. And, I love him to death. He loves me to death. I know he does. He tells me now. But when we were growing up, if you put a roof over your head, you put food on the table, and you put clothing on your back, that's his way of saying I love you. So,
that was the measurement back then.
That was the measurement back then. And look, I'm not going to fault him for it. Back then, in that era, that was sufficient. That was what was expected of a father to do. Sure. A lot has changed, I think, since the civil rights era. And we, of course, have now become fathers post-civil rights era. And expectations of, I think, men are different than they were for our parents. And expectations for women are different than they were for our parents. So, the typical gender roles that you would play in a mother-father scenario have blurred dramatically in the last 40, 50 years.
The traditional family role? You can't. Oh, I'm right there. I'm a stay-at-home dad. So my wife is the one who brings home the bacon in the family. That wasn't originally the plan. Originally, she was going to stay with the home kids, and it wasn't because she's the mom and I'm the dad. It's just originally that's what she'd wanted to do. But it just worked out to where she had the opportunity to make more money than I would. So it would be foolish for me to have an ego and say, well, no, I have to make the money. Well, that's ridiculous. No, whoever's going to make the most money, get out there and do it. So, I'll sit home. I'll raise the kids. Absolutely. And it's a culture shock. It's a real culture shock, because if dads are looked down upon, which they are, stay-at-home dads are, wow.
Since the feminist movement in the 60s, early 60s, women have had three choices. They had a choice of working full-time, working part-time, or some combination of the two. Now, those are three legitimate options that women have today. And whichever option a woman chooses, socially, nobody looks at her any differently. Oh, you're working full-time, you're working part-time, you're doing both. All three are considered legitimate, acceptable social choices to make in a family situation. Men also have three choices.
Yes.
Work full-time, or work full-time. And that's expectation that society has. So in your scenario, when you say, okay, your wife works full-time and you stay at home, I can imagine you probably take a lot of flack, not just from other men, but you probably get funny looks from other women. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, I get funny looks from everybody. And honestly, it was a hard shock for my family to even get over it, because, again, and my wife's family, because, again, it's that shock of, the traditional role. So, yeah, you get funny looks. You don't just get funny looks. You just get you're freeloading. And it's, it's like, well, that's really nice. I'm freeloading. Well, I'm only raising 2 kids, one of them special needs, and I'm trying to make sure that my young men are young gentlemen and end up turning into productive members of society, not degenerates. So, yeah, I'm not bringing home the bacon. You're correct. I'm not doing the traditional role, but
here's the thing.
But I'm doing my job.
You're doing your job. And here's the thing. If we switch the genders and change nothing else about your scenario, no one's going to say to your wife that she's a freeloader.
Nope. You're a good mom. You give me you're the best mom in the world, because that's what a mom should do, is stay home with her children.
And with one special needs child, which requires extra attention, right? I mean, a special needs child requires extra attention and very special considerations. So if you're a mom at home raising a child who's has normal conditions and one who's special needs, you're a superhero.
Yeah, correct. You're
All
Superman.
right. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. But if your dad doing that, man, you should be doing a little bit
Yeah.
more. What's your side hustle? What are you doing
Yeah,
to bring home
exactly.
money?
Exactly. There's
Yep, exactly.
But you know, and the deal is, you know what? I do feel compelled to do that because I do have side hustles. So, and I do feel compelled to try and bring home some money.
Right.
But, and I do think that's also kind of societal pressure, but I also feel like that's something I should do for my family. But, you know, you feel compelled to do that.
You're struggling internally with that wiring that we all have. That you have to
Absolutely.
be doing something. If you're not doing something other than raising kids, which apparently when we're doing it, we're just goofing off. When a woman's doing it, it's a full-time job.
Absolutely.
Even if it's the same job. So
I want to piggyback on what Chris said about societal struggles. I co-parent with my son's mom. We split when he was 2 years old. Anytime she does something with him, they commend her on everything, his behavior, his speech, everything since he was 2 years old. And it's like, oh, well, does he see his father? And it's like, are you kidding me?
Does he see his father?
Like, absolutely no credit whatsoever. I've been there from day one, and it's like I don't even exist. And it disgusts me. It's like, oh, well, he's with his dad. Oh, it's cool that he babysitting while you're at work. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's
Right,
babies.
is she paying you to do this?
By the hour?
I wish. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Then it's babysitting.
Okay.
Until then,
It's
you're raising your
crazy.
child.
We've got this ugly fathers. We've got this ugly stigma. We're idiots, buffoons. We're sexist. In dad's groups, all we do is share porn images and all this other nonsense, and it's sickening. I mean, and then you have the public dad groups. We're not going to name any names that are loaded with women who throw out some of the most condescending opinions I have ever read in my life and do absolutely nothing but cut these fathers down who are looking for help. Oh, well, you need to support your wife more. You need to do this more for her. You need to do this more for her. What about him? I mean, like that saying, happy wife, happy life. All right, so that just means you're the dad, so you're just supposed to be a miserable son of a bitch.
Right. and that's the reason why I asked before why only fathers. I knew the answer to that question because it's very common. If you show any degree of, and this goes back to my earlier comment about complaining or showing any degree of asking for help, oftentimes, and this isn't applying to all women generally, but I think we've all experienced it enough to say that we've seen it once or twice before, that when you do that, you typically get the shaming tactic. Oh, man up. Oh, go look after kids. And what happens is, you know, if you turn the sexes around and have that same conversation and you basically told us, why don't you just be quiet and go raise the kids, you would break the internet. But it's important for men to be able to say, listen, I need to have a conversation with other guys in my situation who are raising kids. We are the first generation, I would say, of men who are involved as we are with our children. And incidentally, I did a show earlier this week where there was some talk on another show I was commenting on about, you know, they were saying how fathers, you know, have babies and then they abandon their kids. And statistically speaking, that shows how much fathers, Black, white, and Latino, are involved with their kids. A vast majority, which goes contradictory to the common narrative that men have babies and disappear, because of course that helps to set the foundations for another entirely different story. So
you hit a nerve. You hit a nerve with that one, man. I mean, me being a Black father, my son is biracial. I get some of the most ignorant crap said to me, and it's all over society. Oh, you're a single mom. Oh, and your son's biracial. Oh, that's figures. I'm not a violent person. Every time I hear it,
I'm not a violent person.
right now. Like, I've been there since day one. I literally have the picture when my son literally was born, still covered in all the gook. I have that picture, not mom. Dad has that. And you're gonna say some nonsense like that to me? There was recently a
and by the way, that's a haunting sight.
Yeah.
right. I remember my kids too. Yeah.
Thank God I don't have a weak stomach, man.
I'm just saying.
And she went on a trip recently to see some family, and it was asked, "Oh, well, does he even see his father?" Oh, are you kidding me?
You're a Black man and you're not around. That's the automatic stereotypical presumption. And sorry guys, this happens in the Black community too. They say that about Black men.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm an anomaly. Like all you guys are on my Facebook page. I'm considered an anomaly because my son is literally all over my Facebook page. Whether it's little
Same.
conversations he and I have, pictures,
Yep.
it's like, wow, you're such an amazing father. I wish there were more black men like you. And I'm like, that's it. If it's a positive aspect of fatherhood, well, we'll look somewhere else. Oh, look, that guy's not taking care of his kid. Let's take a picture of him.
If you enjoyed the show and want to see more, join our Facebook page called The Man Cave by Gentlemen United. All of our shows, tons of additional content, and invitations to future shows are posted there. You can add to the conversation and suggest future discussion topics. Please like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe by clicking the Gentlemen United icon. I promise it's free. Thanks again for joining us in The Man Cave.
Enjoyed the show? Like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for joining us in The Man Cave.